I got a good list for you here. Some shakeups, some big shakeups as we come across. And I'll say this, it's been a defensive football team all season long. The Pittsburgh Steelers have lived and died by how good TJ Watt, DeShun Elliott, and company can be. And while that will probably stay the case most of the season, right now, this offense is hot, red hot, and they are moving and they are winning football games, and they are the reason the Pittsburgh Steelers are winning football games. That's wild to say right now, that the offense is the reason the Pittsburgh Steelers are winning football games. And I get it. It's a three-sided coin here. Everybody's contributing, Danny Smith included. That dude, did you hear his press conference today where he said he's got to get hit? I laughed so hard when he was explaining. I had to stop, dude. I had to I was interviewing Terrell Austin next to him, heard him start going. So I walked away from Terrell Austin and listened to Danny Smith, and I had to walk away. That's how hard I was laughing. And you could hear everybody else laughing in the video. Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, Danny Smith saying, I might be the first coach to ever wear a helmet and shoulder pads on the sideline. Not something I had on my bingo card for today, but certainly something I'm happy came across my feed.
Yeah, that guy is a gem, man. That guy is a gem. All right, three-sided coin, but that's all right. We got some switch-ups here, and Danny Smith should be number one on this list. I'll acknowledge that first and foremost, that Danny Smith should be number one on this list. But I got some good ones here, and we're gonna start backwards. Clear the throat here because I'm gonna get excited here in about 2 seconds.
I like it. I'm excited, and I know you are.
Yes, we're going 1 to 5 this week simply because of how big the shakeups are here in Pittsburgh. And we're starting with a bang. Don't put this up until the end because you didn't know I was going backwards. But wait till we get to 5, or at least 4. Number 1, TJ Watt. And there is no question. There's no debate. He took a week off. He said, I'm going to be number 2 because DeShun Elliott deserves his praise. And I get it. I appreciate it. I respect it. Okay. That's a leader right there, falling on his sword for somebody else who deserves the recognition. But he came right back. And I don't know what's his face in New York has to say about it. He probably doesn't agree that he's number 1 this week, but I'll tell you he is. It's clear, it's simple, and the NFL agrees with me. When the NFL agrees with me, you know it's the truth. TJ Watt, 7 tackles, 2 sacks, a game-winning forced fumble and fumble recovery. Let's not overlook the fact that he smacked it out of Daniel Jones's hand, was mid-tackle, said, oh, never mind, and then dove on the ball to say, I'll get that. No worries about it. Because, when you're left on an island, it's only you and TJ Watt, and TJ Watt will always be quicker to dive on that wall. It was no question. TJ Watt moves back up to 1. I mean, that was the easiest. I only have one breakfast option in this house, and that is eggs. And I'll tell you, TJ Watt being number 1 is easier than my choice for breakfast this morning. That's how easy that decision was. Number 2. This is where things get fun and they get interesting. And I know this is why we went backwards. We went backwards because of how fun number 2 through number 5 are going to be here. Massive switch, massive change up in the power rankings. In week 9, it has been DeShun Elliott and TJ Watt battling neck and neck all season long. Cam Hayward was in there for some time, but now it is number 22 himself sitting at number 2. Naji Harris, 3 100-yard games in a row. It's the first time he's ever done it in his career. He is running better than he has run since he has been in Pittsburgh. He looks smoother. He looks like their holes are bigger. He looks like he trusts his offensive line. He looks like he trusts his offensive coordinator, and they are putting in the work. Right now, Najee's got to be a top 10 running back in the NFL. And I mean, anybody who's sitting around saying the Pittsburgh Steelers got to go sign this guy, they got to go sign this guy. Well, this is exactly what we said was going to happen. It was either going to be Naji is going to fail himself out of Pittsburgh and hit the free agency market with minimum options, or he's going to be way too hot to keep around. And right now he is way too hot to keep around. I don't know if it's the contract. I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's Mason McCormick working some Mason McCormick magic up in that offensive line. I have no idea. I don't know if it's Russell Wilson. What I do know is Naji Harris is the second best player on the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and he is putting his money where his mouth is and saying, hey, anybody out there, you better pay me this offseason. 3 100-yard performances in a row. Naji Harris sits at 2, and there's no debate there. There's no debate there. You can't find anybody else in Pittsburgh playing as well as TJ Watt and Naji Harris. Number 3, is the man we have been raving about forever. Seems like he should have been a Steeler years ago. Thankful that he's a Steeler now. He fits the black and gold better than ever. And he liked one of our Instagram posts the other day. So you got to say, friend of the show. Friend of the show, DeShun Elliott. I get it. It's a fallback. You went 2-3 or 1-3, I guess. But in my eyes, it's not. Like, you're still solidified. You are nowhere near leaving this list. DeShun Elliott still looked good, but the defense didn't play very well against the Giants. And that has to be acknowledged, that when the defense doesn't play very well, you can't just have a full defensive list and say, oh, well, Naji carried this team. Russ had a great game. George Pickens, Calvin Austin. But we're going to keep the two guys 1 and 2 on the defense. That's just not how it works. DeShun Elliott falls to 3. This is not a negative. I just want to make that very clear. This is not a negative. This is just simply there are guys on the offense that are emerging, and now everybody else has got to step it up if they're going to keep pace in these top 5 power rankings. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. See all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. And for any that you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them with just a few taps. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all accounts, easily creates a personalized budget with custom categories to help keep your spending on track, and sees your monthly spending trends in each category to know exactly where your money is going. Get alerts if your bills increase in price, there's unusual spending activity, or if you're close to going over your budget. And the new goals feature automatically saves money for you without you even having to think about it. Whether your goal is to pay off your credit card debt, put away money for a house, or just build your savings, Rocket Money makes it easy. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you, sometimes up to 20%. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions. They could save members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/allsteelers. That's rocketmoney.com/allsteelers. rocketmoney.com/allsteelers. Number 4 and number 5 were fun because last week they sat at 5. Number 4 sat at 5. And we were talking, this is it. He's changing the Steelers offense. He's making moves. He's doing things that the Steelers haven't been able to do since Ben Roethlisberger. Well, I'll tell you this. Right now, Russell Wilson is the reason that the Pittsburgh Steelers are winning. And whether that's him opening up Naji Harris, whether that's his leadership, whether that's his camaraderie with Justin Fields and probably everybody else, whether that's him getting extra work in with George Pickens or keeping everybody's head up during a slow start, I have no idea what it is. All I know is that the Pittsburgh Steelers feel very different right now, and that is thanks to Russell Wilson. He has been the missing piece that the Steelers have been missing since Ben Roethlisberger has left, and I get it. Ben said it today or yesterday on his podcast. They got to play somebody good before you could name them a real contender, and I agree. But I got a hard time thinking the Steelers aren't going to live up to that and that they're going to back down to good teams. I could see him backing down to bad teams. That's just the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if you could still come away, the Giants were a game they should have lost. Let's be honest. The Giants were a game that they seemed like Indianapolis. That seemed like a game that they were just going to let slip through their fingers because of a bad penalty on the first drive and then a missed touchdown on the second drive or the third drive, whenever it was. Just felt like, there it is, dude. It's over. It's over. The momentum's gone. Russ didn't let that happen. And because of that, he's number 4 on this list. Russell Wilson's changing the Pittsburgh Steelers. And anybody sitting around saying, how far can they go? I don't know. How far can Russ take them? That's the question. And number 5, the man that's catching the football from Russell Wilson, who looks every bit of the superstar that you wanted him to look, who looks like the reason you don't really need to go out and get a Cooper Kupp if you don't want to go get a Cooper Kupp, a guy who, I mean, to be honest with you, it only surprises me that he wasn't able to get the foot down 3 times, let alone 2. I thought he could have did it again, and he probably could have if you told him he had to. George Pickens, man. George Pickens has clicked with 2 quarterbacks this season, has looked every bit of the George Pickens you wanted him to look, and with Russell Wilson, it is only taken off. I mean, this guy brings you superstar vibes to every degree, and I mean, the future's bright for him, but I think right now is bright for him, and I think by the end of the season, with a good this is the first time George has had a good quarterback, a real quarterback, because before that, it was Mitch Trubisky. What are we doing here? It was Kenny Pickett. What are we doing here? And then the best he had was Mason Rudolph. What are we doing here? Now it's Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. And I'm not trying to put Justin down, but Russ is just a passer. He knows how to get the ball out. He knows when to get the ball out. Some of these passes are beautiful, but he gives guys an opportunity without thinking about it and knows when and where to give them an opportunity. And George Pickens takes advantage. Every quarterback says it. Every quarterback who's come through Pittsburgh has said it. If George is down there, I always trust George. I always think George is going to come down with the football. Russell Wilson's the first one to put that into action and say, yeah, you know what? George is there. I feel okay about this, and throw the football. So you're seeing what George could really do here, and I think this is just the beginning. That's my list. TJ Watt, Naji Harris, DeShun Elliott, Russell Wilson, and George Pickens. A complete flip from the weeks prior, offense to defense. Cam Hayward dropped off, but honorable mention. But again, you have a bad game against the Giants. There have to be some adjustments there. I'll ask you your opinion here. You just saw it. You saw it all. I sent it first thing this morning. That's how you know. That's how you know. I was sipping my coffee at like 7 a.m. going, yeah, Najee's number 2. Najee's number 2. How you feeling about the list?
I'm feeling like I do a similar list for the Penguins podcast that I do. I do a power rankings every week. And you mentioned DeShun Elliott moved down a spot. In fact, he's the only red on that entire power rankings. But that's because there were players that are just playing better. That it's not that he's playing bad. It's just that there's a player that's playing better. For the Penguins, it's the opposite. I literally sit there and go, has anybody made a positive impact in the last calendar week? No? Okay. Like this past week, I put in, no, I'm not going to go too deep into this. I put Nola Chari in over Sidney Crosby. You probably only know one of those names. That's how bad it's been over there. This is the complete opposite. This is, hey, there's more than 5 really good players on the Steelers right now, so it's hard to make this list. You have Calvin Austin, who just had the game that he had. You have Alex Highsmith, had 12 freaking pressures on the quarterback this week. 12 pressures in one game. Insanity.
I would say he's 6th. That's
right
a great honorable mention.
Chris Boswell is a freaking cyborg right now. There's a lot of players. I mean, need to add Beanie Bishop. Beanie Bishop has 3 picks in 2 weeks, including a game-clinching pick last week. There's a lot of good players on this team. It's hard to kind of wheedle it down and get 5. I think you did as good as you can right now, but I think there is an argument to be made for a lot of players, and that is what shows you that the Steelers are clicking on all cylinders, is that you can make a list of 5, and there's another list of 5 that everybody's going to say, hey, they should be on that list, and there is an actual conversation to be had. The Steelers are in a great situation. They're in their bye week. They can get healthy, and who knows, maybe after week 10, a massive matchup against a playoff team. I mean, Big Ben said, let's see him do it against a good team. We're going to see that in the second half. Plenty of good teams on the schedule. You get healthy, and maybe then we have 15 names we're talking about. We have 20 names we're talking about, because if they're all healthy, they're all rested, this is a good team. We've seen that so far. I think we'll continue to see that. There's a lot of players that deserve to be on this list, but I like the 5 you got.
Yeah, I mean, there is, and you could put the entire offensive line out there and say, yeah, the O-line is probably 7, 4 out of 5.
Yeah,
probably
say who, but we all know.
Probably 7. Alex Highsmith said exactly what you said. Exactly what you said. That's where the Steelers are right now. It's a great place to be. I mean, you're amidst a 3-game winning streak, and that's really all you care about right now, is that the Steelers are 3-0 in the last 3 games, and they're looking to be 4-0 in the next one. And will it happen? Who knows? It's good that the next one is some good competition, because, you know, the more you win, the more people are going to question who you played. Now you have an opportunity to play somebody good, and we'll see what happens. That's my list. Let me know what you think about it in the comments.